Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So next up, I need to do a little under table saw storage. I recently added another dado stack to my arsenal, more so when I have one out for sharpen. I still have one available in the shop. So I have that, I have feather boards, I have zero clearance inserts, I have all kinds of things for the table saw. And as much as I love my sled rack, I built that a while ago. I'll put a picture of that up here. It only has one drawer, and currently that one drawer has one of my dado stacks in it. So that's certainly not enough storage around the table saw. So what's going to follow here is a very quick and dirty shop cabinet out of 3/4 Baltic birch plywood. I will put some walnut drawer fronts on it just to dress it up and make it look like the rest of the shop. But then I'm hoping to spend a little bit of time showing you maybe how I organize and put my tools away. So let's get after this quick and dirty case. I'm going to set up the dado stack. On my sides here, I'm going to rabbet the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to put in a sacrificial fence and cut back to a 1/2-inch groove. This will get a 1/2-inch back panel. And then I'm going to just glue and screw it all together. You're not going to see any of this. And I am going to put some 3-inch wheels on it. So if I do want to roll it out and clean behind there or get to the electrical or the dust collection or any of that stuff, I can roll this cabinet out of the way. So let's get after it. So I just wanted to take a second going all the way back to my miter station build. Some people question me on the fences. And in this project, I'm batching out a whole mess of drawers. And of course, you know, one dimension is way different than the other. By having the fences here, I can set my long one and put a flip one for my short one and never have to change setup, and I get that repeatability all the way through. Okay, now that the basic cabinet is built, it's time to get some of these things to a final home. And the top drawer for me is going to be the new 6-inch dado stack. And I got asked to show how I did the original one, which was in styrofoam here. And I think I've got a half a sheet of it there. Dow styrofoam, came from the big box store. It's not expensive. And you just literally cut it with a small little trim router and a straight bit. But I warn you, it is messy. You'll spend a little while cleaning up after this process. But I'm going to go ahead and go through it and show you what I do. And we'll go from there. So let me get this stuff traced out. This is what I want in this top drawer. It's the dado stack. It's the wrench for the table saw. And since I usually have my zero clearance fence on the saw when I use this stack, I have my clamps for that fence in here as well. So let me get all this stuff out of the way because we're going to make a mess, and I will show you what we're doing. Okay, so there you can see the layout for what I'm going to store in this drawer. And if you notice, I have some S's and some D's and some M's. And these are just reminding me of depth settings. So for instance, on the clamp, I need kind of a medium setting for the base, and I need a deep setting for the handle. And on the saw blades, they're all shallow, but I'm going to come back with a deep in the middle because that will give me the finger hole to pull them out. And then I will cut finger holes for each one of these if they're needed, but I'll do that after the actual individual items are in place. So let me get the router set up, and we'll show you this messy process. Okay, well there it is. It's all cut out. That whole thing took me probably less than a half hour, but man, did it make a mess. So I'm going to spend the next little bit here getting cleaned up, and then we'll get back after this. All I'm going to do next is just paint this black so it looks better in the drawer, and then get it installed. So there's that drawer all laid out. Let's move to the next drawer and do something a little different. So the next drawer down is mostly my feather boards, my push blocks. I have a couple of mag switches, and I have my Wixley gauge, and that's what I want in that drawer. This time we're going to use Kaizen foam, made by FastCap, and it's layered foam, and I'll mark it out just like I did on the other one, only this time it's much cleaner, and I'll use a razor knife and peel the layers out. And I'll show you what this one looks like when I get it cut up. Okay, so there's the FastCap in, and I left some room there for some expansion. If I add more feather boards or I add things that just I need in that place, I have room for it, so that's a good thing. FastCap is certainly not as messy, but it's not completely painless either, so it does make some mess. All right, so next up in that bottom drawer, I'm going to create a holder for all of these zero clearance inserts. I have the stock one still. I have a template. I have a couple of spares. And the rest of these I've dialed in for something. So obviously I keep a few of these around, so I want to create a holder in that bottom drawer to do that. I've laid out a holder on this piece of scrap 3/4 plywood. And we're just going to build a little rack to go in there. Just merely cutting some 1/4-inch dados and screwing it all together should be fine. And I'll show you when I come out the other side. Okay, so there's the holder for the zero clearance insert. You see I just created some notches, some 1/4-inch plywood, and I held them all in there. I probably could have made it a little bit shorter, but it's not a big deal. I also threw my earmuffs in there as well as my respirator and some spare cartridges. So ended up being a good home for that. Last up, we're going to work on some actual blade storage. That'll probably be tomorrow morning, but that'll be last up. And I still got a few drawers left, so nice to have a little room to grow. Okay, so there's the saw blade storage. All I did was create some slidable trays, and they both slide top and bottom. So they fit the saw blades just right. So that ought to work. And I got a little room for growth, and I put the tool, the pry bar that I use for adjusting the tension on my belt on my saw in the front of this one. There's still a little bit more room in here if something comes up, but I'm kind of happy with this. I get 5 blades, or 4 blades in here rather, and of course my dado stacks are in other drawers, so that should be more than enough. I really want to put a flat bottom blade over there, but I need to get one of those on order. Well, there it is, guys, the under table saw storage. I know I breezed through the cabinet build pretty quickly, so if you have questions, please drop me a note. I've built a similar cabinet to this a couple of times here in the shop, so I wanted to get through that kind of quickly and spend a little bit more time on what I did on the drawer organization. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a note. My email is in the show notes, or catch me here on YouTube. It's all good. So yeah, until next time, guys, take care.